What's going on, everyone? Aaron Egler here, Cheesehead TV, coming to you live, a afternoon edition of your Packers Daily Chat on the Cheesehead TV social channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just heard from Matt LaFleur for the first time since the news broke that David Bakhtiari suffered a knee injury in practice yesterday. LaFleur confirming that Bakhtiari will indeed miss the remainder of the year. Thus begins the great question: who will play left tackle against the Bears on Sunday? If I had to bet, I'd probably right now say they move Billy Turner over to left tackle like they did when Bakhtiari missed games earlier in the year. But that's not a foregone conclusion. We've seen LaFleur is not afraid to mix things up along the offensive line each and every week, something Andy and Herman and I talked about on Let's Talk Football earlier this week, or 2 weeks ago, actually. For my money, I like the idea of keeping Elton Jenkins along the interior simply because Akeem Hicks is there. And I got to think he's probably going to be lining up on the other side as much as possible to try and take advantage of whoever is playing right guard, whether it's Billy Turner, whether it's Lucas Patrick. Doesn't really matter. That guy is going to feast and be unblockable. That's who he is. That's what he's been. The Packers have always had a hard time containing him. And I don't think Sunday's going to be any different. But to me, I like Lucas Patrick there at guard, somebody who maybe doesn't match up physically, so to speak, but is definitely going to play to the whistle and has a bit of nasty to him. That would be my preference. We'll see where LaFleur goes. Good to see everybody here in the comments. We got all three. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got YouTube. Good to see everybody. Will Mack beat Turner? Possibly. We'll find out. I mean, look, there's no question the Bears got a really talented front, and the key to success on offense is A, running the football, which is going to be much harder with Akeem Hicks in there, and B, getting the ball out of Aaron's hands quickly. Now, that said, Billy played really well at left tackle when the Packers had to utilize him when Bakhtiari missed time with that rib injury earlier this year. And, he wasn't going up against the Sisters of the Poor. He was going up against some pretty damn good fronts, including down in Houston. And he matched up against J.J. Watt a number of times and held his own. So I don't think it's this foregone conclusion that, oh, no, Mac's going to just pulverize them. Now, it's clearly a mismatch in Chicago's favor. There's no doubt about that. But that's why you have different personnel groupings, chips from the back, tight ends, etc. There's no doubt that they're going to be cognizant of it. They're going to have to be. But we'll see. We will see. Will Wagner be back? Brandon LaFleur indicated that, yes, he should be good to go. He's practiced the last 2 days, albeit in a limited capacity, but LaFleur indicated that he should be good to go for Sunday. Overshadow Sean, thanks to the super chat. Happy New Year to you, Nags, everyone at Cheesehead TV, and everyone in the chat. Thank you, Overshadow. Very nice of you. Nathan, thanks for the super chat. When we win the Super Bowl, I like where your head's at. What adjective would you use to describe the hiring of Steno, drafting Jenkins, and signing Turner and Wagner? One? I only get one? Stupendous. How's that? I don't know. I don't even know if that's an adjective. What do we got here? Reese, sorry. Thanks for the super chat. Happy New Year, Nags. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Joel, thanks for the super chat. Don't watch many shows, but just finished Mandalorian Season 2. What should I watch next? The Expanse. It's on Amazon. It's really good. Matt LaFleur said something about this week's O-line is not the O-line for the playoffs. Who do you think is the most natural left tackle remaining on the roster? Whew. Really good question. Crazily enough, probably Billy Turner. I think Elton can play there. There's no doubt about it. But just as far as build goes, I'd probably go with Billy. But I think you're going to see them mix and match each and every week, depending on the defense in front of them and how they think the front matches up with their talent along the offensive line. Kyle, thanks for the super chat. Happy New Year. Let's shut those Bears up, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Kyle. Got your head in the right spot there. Josh, thanks for the super chat. Who has been the biggest positive surprise for you on the Packers this year? It's probably Billy Turner. I said after that Houston Texans game, that absolutely blew me away. I never in a billion years thought they would move Turner over to left tackle and have success. They were 2-1 with him at left tackle, and the one that they lost was the Minnesota game, which really wasn't down to not being able to block anybody up front. It was because they couldn't stop Dalvin Cook. So, yeah, to me, that's one of the biggest surprises of the season. No question about it. What else we got here? What else we got? Happy New Year's, Nags from England. What's up, Fred? Happy New Year's from the U.S. in New York City. Thanks for the show as always. Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. How do you pronounce Josh Neumann? Well, not like that. Josh Neiman, I believe, is the correct pronunciation. Billy Turner looked better at left tackle than he ever looked at right guard last season. I agree, Overshadow, which is another reason why one of those games where he did play right guard last season was week 1 against these Chicago Bears, where he looked absolutely horrific. So obviously, a lot of water under the bridge now, a lot more reps in the offense. He's a very different player now, but I think I prefer him at left tackle over right guard this week especially. MVS hasn't had a catch 3 of the last 4 games. He will have a big play plus one of those 50-yard plus catches. Adams kids at least one, and probably either Lazard or Tunyon. I think MVS has a chance to do something. I hope they come out with a shot play to him like they did last year, only this time he catches it. Don't forget the game against the Bears towards the end of the year last year in December. First play of the game, they take the deep shot. He alligator armed it, even though there was no one in front of him. And then we basically never heard from him again. Brandy has a message for everybody. Can everyone stop getting hurt, please, and thank you. I'll pass that along, Brandy. I'll let 1265 know. So what Packer said what that's so motivational to the Bears? Gary, coach just addressed that. I asked him about it. It's all from a radio interview that David Bakhtiari gave earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday, where the hosts of the show were asking Dave about the possibility of sitting guys and resting for week 17 because if the first seed was wrapped up, et cetera, or whatever. And, Dave was like, no, we want to go down there. And I think the phrase that he used was, we want to go down there and beat the piss out of the Bears. I think that's the quote that lit a fire under Hallis Hall. But, this idea that I guess Eddie Jackson has that there are all sorts of players saying shit is just kind of comical because no one has said anything. I wish they would say something. I wish you would get a little bit more contentious. I like it. I think that's fun. I'm old school that way, but I know in this day and age, nobody does that kind of stuff anymore. Drew, thanks to the super chat. Does Big Dog's workload increase with Bakhtiari out? I do think there'll be utilization of certain types of like 2 tight end sets, things where he's in line because they want to give help, maybe on a shot play or something where they want to ensure that they have time to work downfield. I don't think it's a monster change. I think it's a slight wrinkle, if we have to call it something, but I do think you'll see him utilized a little bit. Is Corey still asleep? Oh, Corey's at work, man. He's been at work all day. Lefty, thanks to the super chat. Who cares? Who takes over as offensive coordinator next year? Thoughts? I don't think I highly doubt. Unless was there breaking news? Did Nathaniel Hackett get hired away? Is he taking a head coaching job someplace? Unless I missed that, I think he'll be back. But who knows? Perils of going live. Time to unleash big boy Josh. Look, everyone's all high on Josh Neiman, and I got to imagine that most of, if not all of you, have never seen him play. So at least not in the NFL. I mean, if the Packers decide that he's ready and throw him out there, then yeah, let's go. But man, I have a hard time getting pumped for a guy I've never seen take a live rep. But that's just me. How about the class's Bears fans who are cheering 69's injury insulting? Lori, it's hard. Okay, look, I do have a bit of a persona online where when people talk about this stuff, right, the Bears fans are celebrating it. And I've seen it mentioned by both Matt and Andy, and I think one other person, maybe Zach. So a bunch of people have mentioned it. I've got a lot of these Bears fans muted from back in the wars during the Ha Clinton Dix versus Adrian Amos offseason, where Mitch Trubisky was all of a sudden the best quarterback in the NFC North, blah, blah, blah. All that offseason, I spent a lot of time muting Bears fans. So they are in my mentions howling into infinity, and I just don't see it. But I will say I haven't seen it. Now, that said, I'm sure it exists because those people exist. Unfortunately, those people are in every fan base. Let's not forget, Packers fans were like hurling death threats at MVS earlier one or two Packers fans were hurling death threats at MVS. You just got to look at some mentions from the NFC Championship game from Brandon Bostic to see how horrible fans can be, this city or otherwise. So, yes, are there some terrible Bears fans? Of course, but there's terrible fans in every fan base. So it's hard to get worked up about it. But, the best way to shut them up is just go down there, Chicago, on Sunday afternoon and kick their ass. And then you can talk all you want. I love it. 17 gets at least 2 more touchdowns this week. Overshadow, I'm all for it. What's crazy to me is that there's a really good chance he breaks Sterling Sharp's record. A record he almost broke 2 years ago, the single season reception record, and almost broke it. I think he came like 1 or 2 short here in New York in the Jets game. And then, here he is about to do it again. That was a record I thought would never get broken. And he's like flirting with it all the time. Adams is crazy. Nathan, thanks for the super chat. Rodgers also said he likes playing in Soldier Field, but I mean, someone has to. Lance Briggs celebrated Adams' concussion in 2017. Yeah. I mean, I do think Rodgers was talking about like the vibe of the stadium much more than the actual like field itself, because we all know that's garbage. But yeah, we'll see. Can you see the Packers making a free agent signing like Jake Rodgers or Cordy Glenn? I doubt it. I think they'll roll with what they got. I'd be very surprised if they went outside. This is what they do, man. They draft, they develop, they pull from within. Maybe they'd sign someone to their practice squad as depth, but I doubt they go and try and find someone who, has been a starter in the league anywhere. I loved when they played The Bears Still Suck at the Kettle. Oh, that's always a fun time, man. Always a good time. Mitch should be good for a couple picks, Krista. He usually is. The key is to A, hold on to them, and B, take advantage. You get Rodgers a couple more possessions, this game should get, they should be able to pull away sooner rather than later. I can hardly believe how great Davante has been. It is kind of mind-blowing and a little bit kind of otherworldly. The entire place knows who's getting the football, but no one can stop him from getting the football. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So when do we start contract extension talks with 17? Probably next year. Maintain a lead and run the ball. That is 1,000% correct. We got snacks. Yes, Big Daddy Cool Breeze. Big Daddy Cool Breeze is here. Hey, Cheesehead TV live trivia regular. What's up, Big Daddy Cool Breeze? Good to see you again, buddy. Is Trubisky actually going to play better this time? I would think so. He's been playing better. Now, that said, I do think the Packers defense and or their secondary gives him particular fits because they are a bit, more ball hawking. They got some really good coverage guys, and they're not afraid when they're allowed to get up on that line and disrupt the receivers off the line of scrimmage. Although, we all know that it's not a down in and down out occurrence. You got ball hawks like Jair and Savage back there. Trubisky's going to be good for 1 or 2. No question about it. Will Matt LaFleur care about Adams' potential for records or not even a consideration given the number 1 seed push? He was asked about that earlier this week in regards to game planning, calling the game and the flow of the game. And he said, and I think Aaron said this as well, if it comes in the flow of the game, great, but they're not going to do anything to try and, ensure that it happens. They're not going to pull a Favre with a straight hand. Let's put it that way. Justin, thanks for the super chat. Sign Valdir for depth. Justin, he just signed with the Indianapolis Colts to their practice squad. So conceivably, the Packers could go out and sign Valdir off the Colts practice squad. I doubt that happens. I think there's a reason they haven't given him a call all year. I know they just suffered a big injury to their tackle in Bakhtiari, but I got to think they like what they have on hand. And I think if they were going to make that call, they would have made it this past offseason. Tony, thanks for the super chat. What Matt really wanted to say is, I really want to kick their ass when you asked him about the player quotes for this game. Maybe. He gave a very good coach speak PC answer, though. I will give him that. Uncultured, thanks for the super chat. For the Pappy's Fund and the new year, let's do this shit. That's what I'm talking about, Uncultured. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support each and every day here on Daily and during watch parties. Speaking of watch parties, I hope you guys can make it on Sunday afternoon. Packers, Bears, final regular season game. Corey Banke is going to be in studio with me, which is crazy enough. But we will be joined remotely for the watch party by Charlie Barons. That's right. Charlie Barons, Corey Banke, and myself watching the game on Sunday. Oh, and it's a Bears game. Doesn't get any better. So I really hope you can join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lack of fans is a huge win for us on Sunday. Major help compared to losing Dave any other year. That is a very good point. The idea that you're not contending with noise, especially the very first week after losing your premier left tackle, being able to go into a somewhat, controlled and or neutral environment really helps whoever ends up playing left tackle in this game. Dylan, thanks to the super chat. Nagler, when you want more Nagel, but you aren't ready for Naglist. By the way, is it pronounced Nagler or Nagler? Dylan, I don't know. I just pronounce it Nagler. That's how I say it. I've heard people say lots of different stuff. Yeah, whatever works for you, man. Big Cheese, thanks to the super chat. Happy New Year, Nags. When we can have a winning record without our best linemen, we will be fine. I don't get all the complaining from our fans. This team is still the best in the league. I haven't seen a lot of complaining. In regards to Bakhtiari, I saw a lot of complaining about the draft, but I haven't seen a lot of complaining about Bakhtiari. I've seen a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of, hating the timing. But I think Packer fans, for the most part, they get it. They know, it's a gut punch, but, the road gets a little harder, but it still leads to Tampa. And that's all that matters. See, I can't believe you associate with anything Wisconsin and then say you don't know who Charlie Barons is. Well, not okay. Charlie Barons is brilliant, and we love him. The reason we found him was because of Manitowoc Minute. He is a man of many talents. If you aren't aware of who Charlie is, stop by the watch party on Sunday. He is fucking hilarious, and he's a huge Packers fan and just a really good guy. We had him over to Corey's house last year before a game, and he and his wife were really lovely. Really, really good people. Peter, thanks for the super sticker. Very generous of you. Thank you. Happy New Year's, Nagy. What's up? Happy New Year. The Bears are who we thought they were. Yeah, exactly. IG live tonight to Nags? No, Evan, not tonight. My girls are coming over. I think my oldest and I will be recording a new Star Wars podcast, but no IG live tonight. Injuries are part of the game. Yes, they are. Riley, thank you for the super chat. 2020 just had to give one last FU, didn't it? Indeed it did, and now it's over. And I woke up this morning, the KLF is on Spotify, so 21 already looking better. What time is love? That's what I'm talking about. All gas, no fucking break. You got that right, Kevin. All right, guys, I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers and some other stuff with me. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. We'll see you Sunday on the watch party. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go, Pack, go.